All right, so in a recent tutorial series, we shared how to create and customize Storyline to really give your courses an app-like feel. And part of the effect comes from these little selector graphics that you can place over your custom nav bars to indicate which section or module that you're on. So I want to show you how to put that together in Storyline. Now, really, the original graphic I created right here was actually created in Photoshop, but we can pretty much create the same thing here in Storyline, or if you're working in PowerPoint, same thing. So let me just find a good place to start. All right, so let's go ahead and just create a new one. So insert shape, and I'm just going to select the rectangle shape. You actually could work with some of the other shapes. Actually, for example, the trapezoid would be a good one to work with too if you wanted to create a little irregular shape over your graphics. But rectangle is going to work just fine. And I want to go ahead and just size it close to that original bar, and I'll move it up. A couple things we want to do is get rid of that outline first, and I'm going to fill it with black, but really I want to come in here and select gradient and then select a linear down gradient. And if I right click this now, I can choose format shape, and I just want to make a few modifications to the gradient. So by default, right, this gradient is going to have 3 stops, right? Stop 1, 2, and 3, just the position of each of the colors. I'm going to remove stop 2. I just really need a 2-stop gradient, top to bottom, black to white. So stop 1, let's make that black. And stop 2, make it white. Now I want to dial up this transparency a little bit, right? So if I look at stop 1, I'll just keep working in this order. Maybe somewhere around 30-ish, 30 to 40. But for stop 2, we really want to dial this up, 70, 80, somewhere around there. Want to really lighten it, and maybe even a little bit more here on stop 1. And if I move this over, pretty much that's the effect. Looks pretty good, although it's not, I would probably say it's not complete, it's not pro yet, but it does look pretty good. And depending on how much of the transparency effect you wanted to place, this might be all you needed, right? So it's already given me that inset effect. Maybe I want to bring that icon actually above the graphic or below it, as we had it before, so I'll just send it back. But here's kind of what I would do to make this a little bit more pro, and that is to customize these inner shadows. Real quick, we can't do something here that I can do easily in Photoshop, and that is apply the inner shadow to the shape. The gradient, just when we start adding transparency, it gets lost, right? So if I came in here to shadow, essentially this is what I want. It's one of these inner shadows, but no matter what you do with these settings, you're just not going to get this type of effect. But that's really okay, because we can totally make our own using everything we have created already. So if I zoom in here a little bit, all I want to do is just kind of repurpose what I already set up. So come over here to fill. I might just bring that a little higher. I'm going to hold the control key down and make a copy of, just drag to make a copy of that initial gradient. And I'm going to drag this all the way up. I'm going to use this now for the top, my inner shadow for the top of my shape. But you can see there's still that white line right there. And that's because when we first worked with the stop 2, we didn't put the transparency all the way to 100. But I'm doing that now. And then I can also work with my stop position to maybe to push that up just a little bit. And that'll be my top inner shadow. And I'm going to hold the control key down again and drag to create a new copy. This time I'll rotate, and let's move this one over. And I'm just moving a little bit more here. And again, I can move this up, resize it. I'm going to select stop 2 again and move this inset a little bit so I can get a more of a hard edge right here. We don't need quite as much shadow as we did on the top. And in fact, looking at that top again, I'll bring that up just a little bit more. But this is really the process. So there's no one right setting for this. Your background graphic, make a copy of this real quick. Your background graphic will influence part of the settings in terms of the transparency. But essentially, there's our effect. You might want to add a bottom graphic here too as well. Just going to select and move this over and see how it looks. And check that out. Looks really great. Again, it's all about the level of shadow, however much you want to put in here. If I wanted to make this bigger, right, I could work with stop 2 and drag it out a little bit. So look how much deeper that looks like, right? So it's really moving that shadow in, or I could go back to what I had it. But I'll make this file available, and if you have any questions or you have a specific challenge, just let us know. We're more than happy to work it out with you.